Moving along. Just ran into this one, and I haven't opened it up. I've never heard of this Pharaoh, but it says the deadliest Pharaoh is it Thutmose or Thutmose the third from 1450 BC, the deadliest Pharaoh. Now I have never even heard the name, but let's just pull the. First, I'm going to just pull a whole tarot and see what we get about this Pharaoh. So what can you tell us about Thutmose? And the deadliest, why was he the deadliest Pharaoh? What can you tell us about this guy? So we're going to pull the cards real quick. Oh, deaths. First card out are deaths. Okay. Looking at his potential actions. The center of it. Things hung up, upside down, could be seen from a different view. The challenge was strength. Now we have a lot of major arcana, don't we? And clarification was things coming out that wasn't really thrilled about. Maybe he was, when I get that card and you get two different color shoes, maybe somebody that didn't pay a lot of attention to detail, but we'll see with the other ones, what's above it. Above the death, we have looking at potential actions when it came to moving forward, and we have the foundation with it is the World card. So could be karma card, looking at endings and potential actions that he would take. It's looking at people, lovers, when it came to his potential actions and endings, okay? So calculated endings, who he can depend on, who he can't depend on. Mentally, he would go through this. Who can I depend on? Who are my allies? And what actions do I need to take? So when we come to the Hangman, he's looking at opportunities. Again, to probably secure his position, wealth, power, when it came to his kingdom. When it came to strength, he's looking at long-term objectives. So we have a lot of, and power, mental power, and the strong sword. Again, when we have the clarification, we have the things coming that he wasn't so thrilled about, the harvest. He's trying to hang on tight and wanting to move forward to a victory. Okay? So our major arcana with this are going into it. We have endings. We have the wheel, timing of endings. We have those that he was engaged with. We have this overturning of things, hanging up, overturning. Okay? Oop. Let me put that here this way. Overturning of things and the strength with which he would act. Now, the next part of it, we have the opportunities. So this is, in the center of it, he was always looking for opportunities to expand, to make things more control, more power. He looked for long-term objectives and tried to hold on to whatever he had. But there were some things that perhaps he wasn't so thrilled about, that he planted those seeds and they just did not come to a good harvest. Now we have no emotional cards whatsoever with this guy. that's totally out of here. So he's somebody that was very focused on the money, the rulership, mental stuff, and then action. But he did not let emotions get in here in any way, shape, or form. We had his mentation, his ideas about endings, deaths, conclusions, and the strong arm thing. So he was just probably pretty ruthless. Okay, no emotional attachment to any of it. And then last but not least, we have he would think about the actions, calculate it before he took action so he would have a victory. So it looks like he was somebody, again, that was very, very calculating in what he did. Now, we had kind of that with Cleopatra, too. She was more in the mental things than she was emotional. She also did not have emotional attachments to the things that she did. Now, let's pull the Lenormand and see what we get with this ruler. What is it? Thutmose? Thutmose the Third? Is that what it is? Thutmose the Third, yeah. So let's see what we get with Lenormand. Okay, after watching the video on this Pharoh, it looks like the woman in the Lenormand was his mother. Now, she took over the throne because he was young, and so she took over the power, and then he became her, he was the one in charge of the army and this type of thing. So, yes, so the woman in the Lenormand reading that I did in the home and the thing was his mother, okay, apparently. And, when she passed, then he took over the throne. And, so that was interesting. Without knowing anything, you're going in blind. You don't know exactly what it is. But apparently, in this reading, it had to do with his mother, and in the tarot, it could be the woman with the sword could have also have been his mother during the time of her living. That's now that I know a little bit more about it, you can place what the things are more easily. So, I would say in the tarot, that his mother was very strong as a leader. I guess he came into a very prosperous, when his mother passed, it was a prosperous thing to step into. And then he wound up really was an excellent person to add to the kingdom. Okay, he was very good at army and that type of thing, conquest. He was very good at doing conquest and stuff. And so the religiosity, his name is something to do with Thoth. And I think Thoth is a god of the underworld. Okay, so that's how the religious part came into it. So I think that he had in his mind a very strong connection to Thoth. And let me see exactly what that is. I think Thoth isn't it the god of the underworld? Yeah, Thoth god. Yeah, Thoth was the god of the moon, sacred texts, mathematics, the sciences, magic, messenger, recorder of the deities, master of knowledge, and patron of scribes. His Egyptian name was Jehudi, which means he who is like the ibis. He was depicted as an ibis bird or a baboon. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. So I think that he took his name perhaps quite seriously. Now, the ibis birds are so weird. When I lived in Florida, we had a lot of ibis there, and I call them the drillers because they get in your lawn and they would look like little oil pumps, getting little bugs or whatever under the ground. But yeah, we had a lot of ibis in Florida. And when I first saw them, I had never seen an ibis before. Aren't those the Egyptian birds, the ones they have in the hieroglyphics all the time? Yeah, okay. So it's very odd to see all the ibis there. So anyway, that's what I got from it after doing the reading and then watching the documentary about this Pharaoh. Then I can go back to the reading and make some more sense of things and put it into perspective. So the woman in it had to have been his mother. What's her name? Hatshepsut? I'm so bad with names, and especially Egyptian ones. But yeah, anyway, that's what I got, and the link is here if you want to watch it about it. Yeah, I think the last part, when it came to the seeds that were planted and then coming to a harvest, it wasn't so great. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what that, because he was very, and he did want to hold on to everything in the kingdom. Maybe that was just his wanting to procure more and more. He was greedy in that way, okay? He just kept expanding and kept going out on these campaigns and would get more and more tribute. He wound up being the most wealthy man in the world at that time because of his exploits, okay? So interesting, very interesting to find out about this Pharaoh that I had never heard the name before, ever. And apparently he had quite a very strong reign. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you online. Okay, going into it, we have, maybe he would try to brush things away, argumentative, could be argumentative. We'll see what's above it. Above it, we have a woman. Now, I don't know if this was someone he was involved with, wife or somebody else, but people around him. He would be argumentative, and he was foundation, always looking at those that would be supportive of him in his arguments, is what it looks like. Maybe he had a woman there that would be supportive of him in his arguments. I don't know. Or it could be somebody, one of the other rulers around the area that he would try to commune with. But let's see what else we have. So we have him, and it's, again, pointing toward that he was, could be very argumentative. Again, we have another woman up here. And at home, the house, the foundation. So yeah, I would just say overall, he could be argumentative with the subjects, with those that were surrounding him. Could be his family, could be the just the people in his kingdom that he was ruling over. What we have is new, in the center of it, new. Maybe he had some new ideas about religion, or he could be very, a pathway forward, divergent path. Maybe he had a new divergent path about religiosity, okay, that he would go to. It doesn't mean necessarily that he changed the religion of the whole country, but it looked like maybe he had a divergent viewpoint of things. Yeah. And then we have next his education, messages, and fireworks. So it looks like he would be pretty much kind of like, somebody like 45 that I know more than anybody, and very fireworks when it came to it, his ideology that he would want to press. And so it looked like he was kind of like that type A personality, and possibly narcissist of some sort, that he knows and nobody can tell him anything. And then what we have anchored in, let's see what we have that's anchored. Okay. These darker truths, conversations about life and the long-term path, life, death, long-term paths. It looked like he may have been interested in his religiosity in some way. It could be something that motivated him, and he took this path of knowledge maybe in the kind of the darker elements of things, that he would maybe want to have conversations with people about. Okay, so yeah, he would look for those that would be in alignment with him, with his higher ideations about religiosity, etc. And the information he had about long-term path, and then he would take a divergent path when it came to knowledge and wanting to know darker elements. Okay, so we'll have to see what it says about this one. I'll watch the presentation about this Pharoh now and just see what they have on him, but that's what I get. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that he was changing the religion or that he was, it could just be his own ideology, that he was very secure in his beliefs and nobody was going to change him, and he took a divergent path into more darker elements, looking at things, and was very much in the mental realm, not in the emotional realm. And yeah, pretty cold. Cold and calculating. Okay, so I'm going to leave this here, and we'll see what they have to say.